Speaking moistly, keep 2 meters apart. Speaking moistly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our usual Tuesday edition of Speaking Moistly. With me, as usual, is Greg. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing great, Mark. Another day in clown world. How are
Holy
you?
smoke! Another day in paradise. I love that song.
At least the
We were
weather's
talking.
nice.
Yeah, the weather's nice. It's cold. Okay, hold on. We got to talk about this really quickly. I was driving downtown because I had an appointment this morning. Yeah, I'll talk about that later. And on the radio, it said it's 24 degrees with a humidex of 28 or something like that. Warm out there, blah, blah, blah. On my car's thermometer, it said 18 degrees.
Hmm.
Nope. Nope. 10
They got the
degrees difference.
they got the weather wrong. They got the
They're always doing this. I was talking about this on my show. They're inflating the weather by a whole bunch. First, they tell you an inflated temperature. So like my car the other day was reading
no.
31
Hold on,
and
hold on,
and they were
hold
saying it
on.
was 36.
I
And
know
then they
that they're
said with the humidex 41. It feels
huh.
like 41. So this feels like temperature is now overriding the real red temperature of the thermostat. It feels like it. It feels like a
Interesting.
heat warning, baby. It's 20 degrees.
Oh,
It was
well,
18.
I'm sure a lot of our followers and listeners have seen the meme of like the red map on like the weather channels.
Yes.
Yeah, it's summertime and the whole world is on fire. This is
It's fire
red, this
season.
is orange, this is yellow. This is a heat map.
Yeah.
This is very accurate. It's not meant
Yeah.
to scare you, but look how scary and
But
red
be
it looks.
terrified.
Yeah. And then
So yeah,
they juxtapose it from like images from 2008 or even like 2014, and it's
yeah,
just like
same
even
temperatures.
even higher temperatures, but it's a
Yeah.
green
Happy
map.
sun.
Yeah, it's a green map. It's not
To,
a scary red map.
today the
um
MET, so like
yeah.
I think it's the London's meteorological thing,
Mm-hmm.
posted a map for Britain that had no temperatures at all. It was the map of the United Kingdom, and on the bottom of the map, kind of just slapped on there as if you like spanked it on there, was a triangle with a yellow triangle with an exclamation point, and it said heat warning for all of Britain. And I said, it's
That's
so hot
crazy, man.
they can't even put a temperature. It's so hot. Holy smokeroni.
I
And
mean,
somebody said they don't have air conditioning there.
what part of our lives has not been like infiltrated by evil like globalist
Jeepers creepers.
indoctrination? It's like,
They,
your family, men and women. It's like, no, can't have a family anymore, can't have men and women anymore. That's
no,
fake.
that's
You got to be
transphobic.
trans. And it's like, you wanted to just check the weather. Yeah, you can't do that either.
Heat warning. It's 24
Heat
degrees
warning.
in
Yeah,
August. Heat
yeah.
warning.
There's no escape. There's no escape, folks.
22 is optimal. Anything above 22 is a heat warning. You could die. You probably not, but you could.
Think about it.
Sure.
Think about it.
And
Yeah.
be afraid.
Be
Okay, the
afraid.
WEF. You and I were talking in the green room, and we were talking very speculatively about political parties, let's just say, and we got around to Pierre Poilievre, and you were saying, I said, what's going to be is going to be, whoever wins is whoever wins, and you said we got talking about the WEF, and you were speculating. Let's
So
go.
you said, well, if he saves Canada, I'll shake his hand.
I did say that verbatim.
Yeah, yeah. Referring
I
to
also said
PP
right
Pierre.
after, I'm not holding my breath.
Right, right. So, and we were kind of talking about political strategy and talking points and how, you know, we wish the PPC were kind of making more noise or kind of focusing more on jab information or like,
We're
just
doing compelling
focusing on
videos.
things. I wish the PPC were focusing on things that differentiated them more from the Conservative Party.
That's a good
And
distillation. Well done.
yeah, yeah, because it's like, I love Max Bernier and the PPC, but right now in, the political climate, every time that Max Bernier is kind of focusing on like an economic argument or like Trudeau is spending too much, he's basically saying, I'm no different from Pierre Poilievre, so he's more popular, so you should just vote for him properly. Like that. Like if any PPC person at HQ is watching, hi, it's like, when Max talks about economic policy, like, I don't think you're gaining any more supporters. You're actually just kind of telling your supporters that I'm no different from small PP. But go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and I thought that's a pretty good distillation. And one of the other things basically was that you said there's no fire in the belly is the only thing that I could think of. Like it didn't seem like when somebody's really into the thing they're doing and they do videos that are
Yeah.
super compelling and they just punch
Mm-hmm.
the gut. I get that from Mr. Polyev. I've seen his videos. I was talking to Kelly Day, Kelly Lamb, remember,
Mm-hmm.
not too long ago. And I said, you know what's weird? I said, I can think of 3 notable Pierre Polyev videos that I've seen in the last 3 days just by virtue of being on Twitter, just because I've scrolled by and seen, oh, okay, that's a new one. And I said, I haven't seen even close to that from Max Bernie for the last little while. And isn't that interesting? Isn't that something to note? Anyway, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. And I mean, I think that you have to be aggressive if you're a dissident. You have to be aggressive if you're going to be a true right-wing populist who's going to oppose not just the political establishment but the what do you call it, pharmaceutical lobby, right? Like you're not, am
yeah.
I frozen?
Yeah, you're frozen. I'll pause it. Hold on a second here.
So if you're Maxime Bernier and the PPC, you need, I think, you need to take an aggressive stance when it comes to the jabby jab question. You need to be the person who's like, hey, why are people suddenly collapsing? What's good? What's the deal with all these doctors? And that can be scary because, oh, you might get branded as an anti-vaxxer or whatever. And it's like, that is the path that needs to be taken, though. If you do want to surge in popularity, if you do want to be that guy who truly captures, like, the trucker convoy people, then you have to be saying those things. And Randy Hillier is really the only guy who was saying the things about the jabby jab, and he became very popular because of it.
It's interesting because there are people. Mark Friesen's one of them. He's very, very outspoken about the Agenda 2030 and the United Nations SDGs, and I think it is a clear and present danger. There are things within there that the government is openly enacting. We're seeing Lloyd Longfield posted something today or yesterday talking about how the fertilizer thing, the 30% reduction in fertilizer use isn't a reduction in fertilizer use. It's just a reduction in emissions. And my question is, there was no explanation of how to get a 30% reduction in emissions. He'd said, we're going to get that reduction in emissions through efficiencies with things farmers are already using. There's no reduction. Farmers are just going to reduce or become more efficient. I don't think there's 30% of efficiencies within the farms. So they understand there's a problem and they're trying to address it in the press and silence any opposition. Is the modus operandi? If that makes sense.
Yeah. But I mean, it's there's just such an opportunity right now, I think, in Canada. Like I personally think that the political establishment is so controlled, and for the PPC and Maxime Bernier, there's an opportunity to really kind of like rattle the cage. And you're not going to become more popular by being cautious. You're not going to become more popular by walking on eggshells. And he needs to be aggressive. Be aggressive. Be
like Trump.
Aggressive. Yeah. Yes.
So what happened to Trump yesterday?
He got raided by the FBI. Yeah.
Sure did. So
yeah, but dude, we've talked about this before.
Okay.
And what does winning look like? Winning looks like all your supporters get called terrorists. Like that's literally what when you fight the establishment.
That's happened. Well, so when Trump won in 2016 and was inaugurated in 2017
and 2020. Oh, sorry, we're on
and had his term, right, and was working through that. They used that. The Democrats used that as an excuse to foster or ignore riots that were going on for made up reasons, like encouraging riots because of police violence seems insane. Having people say that this is peaceful protest to light a post office on fire and the CHOP regions in
it's mostly peaceful.
Seattle, all of the mostly peaceful protests. Yeah, all of that stuff happened because I couldn't even distill it into why did that happen, but basically they used Trump as an excuse to excuse all of that. They said he's so terrible. These things are happening because of him. And not that everybody accepted that, but that was the excuse for why Biden's in the White House right now. And now he is being persecuted by the Department of Justice of his political rival. It seems like a third world country. There's an argument that could be made, and I'm kind of de facto making it, that embracing that, and rattling the cages that way accelerates treatment like we see in the United States by our own. And just today, the
But
Luckywood, the
Mark,
RCMP are already tapping parliamentarians' phones. They're already doing that.
right, but Mark, what is the alternative? Because the alternative is shutting up and saying nothing
I just
and
think it's
doing less.
accelerationist, and I think it's a hard tightrope to walk. And I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you. I'm just saying there's another side to the coin. I'm trying to play devil's advocate. I wish
I
they were more
think,
aggressive too.
I
I wish I
think,
was more aggressive.
I think that, we've been red pilled, or like, we've been politically awakened for a while. And I think that new red pills are happening every single day. And I think that for some people, the rating of Trump's house might be a red pill for people, because, people might be on the fence.
Canadians are so trained at this point to believe that Orange Man bad. They will look at that. I'm sure on Canadian Twitter verse this morning, it was, oh yeah, good job rating Trump. He deserves to be rated. And like not even realizing the
I think you'd have some more faith in how, because personally, I see this Trump raid, I see this attack on Alex Jones. It's like, if they
interesting
were
timing.
if they were winning, would they have to do this stuff? No, they're doing this out of desperation because they're terrified of the popularity of Trump, the popularity of Alex Jones and his
The Alex
ideas.
Jones trial is
Like,
absolutely hilarious, by the way. I'm just seeing the highlights through
right,
other
right.
people cutting clips, and I can't
But
believe how hilarious it is.
and it's like, although there's definitely truth and like, oh my God, it's getting worse, and they're just like, not obeying the rules and everything. It's like they're also doing this because they're so desperate and terrified of, you know, of things getting out of their control and out of their hands. So it's like, there's a lot to kind of be excited about as well. And this answer of like, oh well, maybe if Trump didn't make those tweets, then he wouldn't be getting raided.
He
It's like,
wasn't so bad.
no, like it's that's, I don't think that's the way to look at it, because with that mentality, we just cautiously sit on the couch and do nothing because we're afraid that something, might
Mhm.
happen to us. And
Oh yeah.
I feel kind of like a hypocrite now, because I I was put on like the bail condition sheet for Randy Hillier,
Yep.
of like he's not allowed to talk to me for some reason. And
Interesting.
yeah. And that actually really worked against me in terms
Yeah.
of like being very, like, that really intimidated me. And
Hmm.
it like the impact was like me not going to as many like protests, because it's like, what if they just fucking throw me in a caddy wagon for like no reason, and then I'll have to deal with all these like legal issues and everything like this.
Yep.
But
Well, I mean, look at what happened to Tamara Litch. She was
yep.
warned and told to, leave Ottawa, and BJ Dichter left and has not been arrested as far as I know. And he's often doing Bitcoin conferences, last I heard, I guess. I'm
Mhm.
sure that there's a good explanation. But had Tamara left, I'm sure that she wouldn't have had that negative consequence as well. But like it's difficult for people to stand up. And somebody was sharing the other day what happened to the founding fathers, how like some of them were put in jail and some of them had to leave their families to come to the war rather than, work the farm and make sure their families could eat, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So many died and so on. So I'm not trying to say that it's more difficult now. I'm sure it's easier now, but people are less likely to stand up because the consequences are real, and your family or your parents, your brothers, your siblings, your wife, whatever it is, your kids in some cases as well, will have a problem with that because of the constant barrage of information on the internet and on TV and on radio that says if you do this, if you are opposed to this, you're a radical conservative, you're alt-right, you're a terrorist, you're this and you're that.
Yeah, and they're even calling Pierre Poilievre all right.
They're doing that. Yes, they are.
Yeah.
It's exactly the
So
same thing that worked against Bernier. Why not?
yeah, and the thing is, and that's the thing, it's like, oh, well, I don't want to stand up because something bad might happen to me. You know, my reputation might get ruined or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, hopefully things will just get better. You know, like it's like actually, if we don't stand up to this like now and like, you know, this like right now over the next like few years, it's going to get way, way worse. And to the point where saying anything will be illegal. Like that's kind of where they're headed in terms
That's
of
they're trying it. They're
legislation. And that's
trying
kind
it.
of so it's
Yeah.
like that's kind of all the more reason to stand up because it's like on the contrary, you know, getting smeared in the media is not nearly as bad as getting thrown in jail, actually.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's someone's got to be. If you know, if you don't use your freedom and stand up for it, you'll lose it, right? And
Yeah.
it's like
My
that's
dad said the other day, I was talking about how somebody has to stand in there because if somebody doesn't do it, nobody's going to do it. You know, like if you
Mhm.
don't if you don't step up, probably nobody else is going to do it. If you don't do it, nobody.
Evil prevails
Well,
when
right.
good men do nothing.
All that is required for evil
Or
to.
you know what that phrase actually was? Evil prevails when Canadian men do nothing. That was actually the
Indeed.
original quote.
So my dad said, well, what does it matter? They'll undermine you and whatever anyway. I said, no. I said, no. What does it matter? I said, one person can make a difference. One person has to be able to make a difference. And then I said, have you ever seen the video of that one guy dancing on the side of the hill? And then there's two guys, and he looks really really crazy, and like
Mhm.
nobody's joining him, and then all of a sudden like 10 people join him, and then 20 people, and there's a whole big crowd of people who are dancing because this guy was dancing. I said, somebody's got to lead. Somebody has to stand out front, and not every time is every battle,
Mhm.
federal politics or whatever it is. Somebody has to. And I mean, jeepers creepers, you got to try, right? And I mean,
Yeah.
if you see injustice, you have to try. You have to stop it.
And I want to emphasize like the point or like the perspective or attitude that your dad had is like that of somebody who lives under communist China.
Yeah.
It's like, oh well,
Yeah.
yeah, there's nothing we can
Keep your head
do. You
down.
know,
Yeah.
we're just gonna get rolled over by tanks, man.
Yeah.
And it's like, if we accept that mentality now, then can we really be upset when the
Yeah.
tanks show up? It's like
Yeah.
that was our attitude. That was our
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, like you know, can you hit me with the tanks, man? Because I don't deserve freedom and like
Well,
I'm
see, but
afraid.
that's it. It's not his generation's war to fight, right? His generation's war was a
Well,
different war.
that's
They
fair,
may have lost.
and that's
They may have lost.
why if you're online and you see these young conservatives and you think, oh, they're too intense for me. It's like, no, actually, we need that intense energy. We
Indeed.
need we
All
need
right.
these young people.
All right.
Um,
Last topic for today because I got to go in like 6 minutes. So I think we can do this justice in 6 minutes. Have you been to
sure.
an emergency room and or hospital lately?
No, but I've heard there's a stabbing crisis. Are they calling it?
A staffing crisis. I thought you said a stabbing. I was like,
No,
oh,
no,
I don't
no.
know. We've been stabbing.
Staff. My
Staff
mistake.
crisis. Yeah. Well, the Canadian government, everybody from Pierre Poilievre, so he's a little dicey in this one. He says we should get the foreign nurses who are already here fast tracked to be able to work. And my question to all of these people, the hospitals are saying we're not going to hire unvaccinated workers. The province doesn't have a problem with it, but the hospitals won't repeal their mandates. And so the only solution being proposed by politicians is foreign nurses. And I have an issue with that because not because I don't like foreign nurses, but because if you've got a solution to a problem and the only reason you're not allowing the nurses to be um, hired is their vaccine status, and the vaccine doesn't actually, or the thing that I'm talking about doesn't actually do what they say it's going to do. Maybe this one will go on YouTube. Then does it make a lot of sense? Does it make a lot of sense to mandate the thing, especially when we've got a crisis? And did you hear? Sorry, I've gotten verbal diarrhea today. Did you hear that the health minister said that it was the nurses going on vacation? That is the reason for this. Oh, it's because it's the summertime, and the reason we're closing all these ERs is all those nurses going on vacation. Did you hear that? Right.
I just really hate how, you know, throughout the pandemic, throughout the past 2 years, the premise of everything that these people say is like they are the experts. We have to maximize the health. We have to maximize the efficiency of frontline workers and health and safety. And now it's just kind of like, yeah, we've created all these like very restrictive rules to basically make this way more inefficient and way more annoying and stupid. The whole thing. We're just going to make it really difficult and really dumb. And we're going to base it on, whether you've had this pharmaceutical product taken or not. And we're the experts, though. Still, we are still the experts. Don't trust us.
Got everything wrong.
Like it's just
Expertly.
it's so infuriating that when you talk to like
Infuriating. That was 2 years ago.
no, well, like it's been the same thing. It's been the same story over and over again, though. It's like,
Yeah,
these people, these like terrible policy decisions, these weird sort of like moral authoritative sort of decisions they make. And the whole premise is like we're making the best decision we can, and it's like I feel like smashing my head with a hammer like every time that this is not only presented, but also just kind of like mindlessly consumed by people as, oh, I guess they're keeping us safe, I guess. And it's like, so you're going to take an unjabbed, like someone from the Ukraine or something, and then they're going to show up, you're going to jab them real quick. And it's like, yeah, you're better than all these like fired people here in Canada.
Yes.
That we
that's what
don't like. We do not like these people because they don't drink Coca-Cola or Pepsi. They didn't get Pfizer or Moderna. Okay. It's like, they don't like either of these products. And if you're not going to drink our Coca-Cola and be like a lifetime customer for these pharmaceutical companies, we don't want you working for us. I think of it like that now, like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, it's like,
it is
I don't drink Coke. I don't like Pepsi. So sorry, like, have your sugar water. I don't want any of it. Okay. I don't think I need to drink Coca-Cola to like work at the hospital. I don't think Coke's really good for you.
Well, I mean, it's important when the Coke is keeping you safe, comrade.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know what's going to happen with the hospital collapses. I don't know what's going to happen with I wonder if the nurses are going to stop going on vacation in September, or if they're going to come up with another excuse. And I mean, this is currently not flu season. And now, I mean, we don't have flu season anymore because COVID cured the flu. We don't have flu anymore. We just have COVID. So COVID season.
Flu is out. Flu is out. COVID's in.
It's the only popular thing that's happening this year.
Fourth jabs are in. Fourth jabs are hot right now.
They're trying to push it. And well, how many doctors did you say before we started?
I believe it's 13. I was on Tofu TV last night with Pete. We did an interview, but he brought up this article. It's from like a Substack, but essentially it's 13 different Canadian doctors have unfortunately passed away.
Yeah.
For reasons that we have no idea.
Died suddenly is like a lot, and heart issues one way or the other, but pretty wild. I'm not happy about any of this. I'm wondering at what point the people, because healthcare is a big line item on the provincial budget. So if they're not able to deliver healthcare, let's just defund that whole thing. Let's say, all right, let's go private, open up your private practice, all you people, and we can have unjabbed private practice, jabbed private practice, do what you want to do, be as discriminatory as you want. Because apparently you can do that now in Canada. No problem. Right. So let's get the government out of the way from delivering this service. Flush Lester B. I think it was Lester B. Pearson. No, was it Pearson? Who brought in the healthcare? It wasn't Pearson. It was somebody else.
I know it might have been.
Was it Pearson?
I think it was under. I think it was under Pearson, but it was introduced by the NDP guy. Like the NDP guy kind of presented it or whatever, and then Pearson instigated it. I think.
Yeah.
I might be wrong on that though.
Yeah. No, it's Timothy's. It's Timothy somebody or other. I'm pausing it right now, and then I have to go because I have to go on a walk before I go. Douglas. I thought it was Tommy Douglas.
Tommy Douglas.
Our bad. It was not Pearson. Anyway, flushing that all down the toilet. Let's have an American system. Let's have a private system, because they perverted it and they used it to try and control the population. And they basically treated us like criminals. We will lock you down to save our healthcare system that you pay for. Welcome to your prison. It's your house. Lucky you. And you will, continue to pay the mortgage on your prison. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Very interesting, right?
By the way, and by 2023, we will let you kill yourself if you feel like it.
Right. At any time. You can just go talk to a doctor about it.
Oh, you don't like the high taxes? Well, we got a solution for you.
They do. They do. It's very expensive to live these days in Canada. Okay. Well, we got to wrap it up. I'm not happy with the healthcare. I'm not happy with Doug Ford. I wish there was a way to deal with that in a way that would actually bring change. But it seems like they found a way to have elections that don't have anything to do with any of the issues
What
that
actually
we're facing.
happens?
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
pick your team.
Mhm.
Will they talk about anything that matters? Nope. Pick your
Well,
team.
that's a good point, and I know we're wrapping it up, but it's almost like in Canada, it's been normalized to like, hey guys, like we're changing the rules, and there's nothing you can do about it, guys. And
Yeah.
it's like, wasn't there supposed
See
to
you.
be
See
a
you later.
debate or a conversation about this? And it's like, no, it's you lost your job. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
Um,
Bye. If
what?
you have a problem with it, send a handwritten letter to this address that may or may not
Mhm.
change between now and the time I give you the address.
So we're taking your guns, and it's like, whoa, you can't just. And it's like, no.
And your fertilizer.
Emergency safety, and it's like, what? Like, okay, we're taking your fertilizer, and it's like, well, you can't do that. No,
Emergency safety.
emergency safety, and it's like,
Got
oh
it.
shit, they got me again. Okay,
Yeah.
we're taking your wife and your kids away. Whoa, what's going on? Emergency safety.
See,
And it's like you're
it
making
works
out
every
with her
time.
in front of me. No. Emergency safety. It's like this seems a
That's the
little.
point they tell you to sit
This
down and then
seems
they
a little
head.
suspicious, kidnapping my wife and children for
Yeah.
safety. I don't know, man.
One of the most effective beginnings of a movie is Inglorious Bastards, where the guy shows up and they have milk, and there's the hidden people. So I guess they're Jews, Nazi Germany, right? Hidden under the floorboards, and they're having milk, and then
Yeah,
they
okay,
rip
I
it.
remember. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, man. It's
Why did you bring that up?
it just seems like we're in a situation where we're inching towards that kind of um interaction where
So,
somebody's shown up, you know that they've
mhm.
shown up for a reason, they know that you know that they've shown
So
up for a reason. It's
I I have a great idea for our next episode to like
okay.
tease it for next week. Let's talk predictions of what's
Ooh,
going to happen in the fall. Like, are they going to come back with pushing the boosty boost, and like, how are they going to handle the flu season? Like, is it going to go back to lockdown? What
they're
month
gonna
is it going
try
to be? How long is it going to be? What's their
September
rhetoric going to
27th.
be? I think that could be really fun because like
It'll be interesting.
we've
Sure, we'll do
gone
that.
through 2 falls of this, and I think it's going to be
Here we go
similar,
again.
but it's going to be, yeah, here we go again. Exactly.
It'll
Yeah.
it'll rhyme. It's not going to look exactly the same, but it'll rhyme.
Yeah.
All right, we got to wrap it up. Greg, where can they find you?
Find me on the YouTubes at Greg Wycliffe, and Instagram at Greg Wycliffe, one word, and then TikTok. I still have the TikTok, and Twitter at GDUB. Thanks for having me, Mark.
Anytime. And you can find my stuff at candidapoly.com and candidareport.co and all the other stuff I do. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.